Well. The time has come to talk. Let me get my setup together. I feel a little ghostly today. Let me get myself together and we are going live, baby. It's been a minute. I like the mixed bag. Okay. We are officially live. I have my tea. Oh, I need my phone. And I'm going to put on some lipstick. But come on in. We got some things to talk about. I was rushing today because I just finished getting my car fixed. And they took longer than I anticipated. So thus, have a face. 1 second. Let me see. All right, you guys. Live TV. We're going to talk, though, because welcome in. Feel free to comment. I will put comments on the screen as needed. As long as you're polite. We are being polite in here. I'm just bringing to light an issue, but it's all out of love. Thank you. Sounds like I had gray hair. Thank you, my girl Mercedes in Hyde Park. Hook me up. Okay, hold on. Truly live. I got this lip color from a beauty supply store, and I am just obsessed. Thank you. We are in Chicago today. There you go. Okay. I really want to talk to you guys today to bring some things to light when it comes to the pageant community. There's been a series of things that I've noticed happening in pageants, and we're going to talk about it today. Who did you guys have winning Miss Universe? Let's just start there. Who did you have winning Miss Universe? There's so much happening by the minute with Miss Universe. I legitimately, I cannot keep up. I think I went too hard on my attempt at a fake eyeliner. Anybody else put on blush like that? I am a blush on the cheek kind of girl. Okay. I still feel super washed out, but I think I look okay. All right, let's just start, you guys. I wanted to do a little bit more research prior to starting this. So I'm going to bring a lot of information fresh off top of the dome. But this has been, like I said, a pattern that I've noticed happening in pageants specifically. And I think it's time we finally talk about the elephant in the room. Hi. I have enough people on here watching. We can start a little conversation. Leave a comment below. Where are you guys from? What country did you guys have winning Miss Universe? And we are talking pageants today, bringing to light an issue in the pageant community. An issue in the pageant community. Let me go ahead and I apologize, you guys. Let me go ahead and all right, you guys, your comments are on the screen. I appreciate you guys sincerely. Let me just get my setup going, and I am going to present some data, some numbers, some interesting tidbits that I've been watching. Let me share this live. To others on Facebook and such. And then we can just get it jumping. Why not? How's that sound? Sounds good to me. Okay. Here we go. All right. Let's chat, Facebook. Comment below where you guys are watching from. Here we go. Post it. Comment below where you guys are watching from. We are here in the Midwest, the best place to be on the planet. And I don't know if it's the Chicago in me. I don't know if it's being raised by a Black mama that doesn't play. But hello from Saudi. I wonder, you guys, I'm such a perfectionist. I was trying to see if this, nope, it's like not gonna work either. Okay. I don't know if it's my upbringing or what, but I feel compelled to okay, just wanted to make sure I'm still going. To talk about this pattern recognition I'm noticing in the pageant world. And that is something that, all right, let's just get out there. It's kind of hard because a part of me feels like I'll just go from the beginning. When I first started competing for pageants, my mom was just so anti. She did not like pageants at all, the idea of it. So I had to pay for pageants all out of pocket. Everything for my first pageant. And I competed for in the USA system for Illinois. I competed in the USA system for Illinois as a teen. That was my first experience with any kind of pageant anywhere. And I loved it. I didn't win, but I was so used to being on stage anyway. I grew up playing the piano. I grew up running track. So I was always kind of used to the spotlight, I guess you could say. And I did fashion shows. So I did a lot of fashion shows as a kid, tons of fashion shows. I went to modeling school, acting school, just a creative person all around, right? So when it came to pageants, it was just natural because why would I not keep continuing showcasing myself to the world? I mean, well, the world needs that, right? Fast forward, I didn't win. Fast forward again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. I never actually won. So then I started competing in the Black pageant systems. And that's where I got Miss Black America and Miss Black Illinois. And I don't think it was a coincidence that I competed in, or Miss Black USA. And I competed against some great girls who I still connect with to this day, both in 2016 and I don't know when I did Miss Black America. I feel like they kind of like overlap. But I did the 50th anniversary of Miss Black America. And that's the pageant that Oprah did, that she's famous for when she was Miss Black Tennessee. And they were celebrating 50 years. Now, did I know they were around for 50 years? I knew the pageant was created 50 years ago, but I didn't know that they were still active. So when I did it, it was about 4 years of them like getting back up and running. And I don't even know if they're still really running for real, but I can keep going on a tangent about them, and I'm not going to do that today. I remembered all of a sudden why I wanted to have my tripod. I'm looking because I have another tripod over there. So when I was competing in these pageants as a kid, my mama used to say, like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you doing these pageants? And I would say, because I want to, and they're fun. And she's like, well, you know you're not going to win. And I was like, damn. Oh, okay, that's bogus. But she's like, hold on one second, you guys. Let me get my phone up and running. That's what I'm doing right now. Get my phone together.
Like I get cookie.
Ooh. Let me set myself up on TikTok real fast. I forgot to do this first, so I apologize. The state of... There we go. Okay. So now we are live on TikTok as well. My mom said, you know you're not going to win. And I said, dang, that's kind of bogus. Why would you tell somebody they're not going to win a pageant? Like, why would you do that? That's kind of bogus. But was it? Was it bogus? Looking back, I could see that she was ultimately, in one way or another, protecting me from rejection. You know, how that looked to her. But ultimately, I don't think she was lying. I don't think she was lying. I think that she was dead serious. Like the kids say, dead ass. Because what I witnessed when I was first competing in pageants, and this is kind of like 2009, 12, 13, 14-ish, 15-ish, pretty much up until Deshauna Barber won Miss USA around 2016, 2017, did I see something. And that was when it came to being Black in these mainstream pageants, we weren't winning. We weren't winning these pageants. Black women were not winning the highest titles that we could achieve in beauty pageants for a long time. And now, of course, someone's going to say, well, you do have your one-offs. Okay. You know, and how can you differentiate Black and white and race? Because we did see a blonde win Miss Universe for the very first time in a long time, last year. However, being black is a little bit more common than being a natural blonde. Okay. And then something magical happened. Around 2016, this beautiful chocolate sister out of DC came and wowed us, Deshauna Barber, and won Miss USA. Let me make sure I have for you right. And yeah, I think so. Yep, 2016. Look at me. Pageant knowledge. I'm a pageant encyclopedia. And I think that was one of the first times where I felt like Black women could actually win the highest title, at least in the USA, which was Miss USA, and then you also have Miss America. But we have not seen someone with a certain shade of color hold these high titles. Now, you might be able to say, mind you, pageants started off racist. How, did you ask me? How? Let's Google schmoogle. I'll tell you how. This is how pageants started off racist. And this is just going to come straight out of the AI presentation I have. In front of me. Right here. Does anyone want to read this out loud, what AI says? Miss America started off by having this crazy rule number 7 that stated contestants must be of good health and of the white race. Now, does this explicitly say Black people can't compete? No. But it does say you have to be white. That is a criteria to win Miss America, the very first pageant of its kind. So right now, the foundation of it is built off of white beauty. Now, this was abolished, it says, allegedly in 1950. Let's look up the abolition date according to AI. The rule was part of the contestant contract for many years. And the first Black contestant didn't even compete until 20 years later, 1970. So it was created in 1920 something when the pageant started. Okay. It was abolished in 1950. Yet it took one girl from Iowa 20 years before Black people actually competed. I'm drawing a blank on her name. But it was let me look it up first. Yes, Cheryl Brown. Cheryl Brown from Iowa was the first person right here. She was the first person to compete for Miss America. 1970. Do you know when they actually crowned the first Black Miss America? Of course we know this, right? Of course we know this. Because when they crowned the first Black Miss America, they dethroned her 9 months later. A scandal, they say. And then 40 years later, they apologized for it. And then she went on to become the hottest thing in Hollywood streets. I'm talking about Vanessa Williams. Hold on, you guys. I had this heat on. Ooh, I thought it would be cold. Vanessa Williams. Not only did they crown a Black woman in 1983, 80, 70, 60, 60 years after Miss America started, were we able to even be crowned. Now fast forward to where we are today. How many Black Miss Americas do we have? 8? 9? Let's just ask ChatGPT. How many Black women have won Miss America? Let's see what this says. At least 9. At least. Uh-oh, we got back-to-back. Oh, we got 2 back-to-back. When Vanessa Williams won, we were undeniable that year, it looks like, in 1984. And then we have Debbie Turner Bell, Meredith Judith Vincent from Illinois, Kimberly Akin, Erica Harold, also from Illinois. Oh, no, Erica Dunlap. Yeah, Erica Dunlap, Florida, Carissa Cameron, and then Nia Franklin in 2019. But look how spaced out these years are. The first Black woman to win Miss America was in 1984. And then from 84, it went 90, 91, back to back. And then we have 94 to 03. That's 9 years. Back to back. And then 2010 to 2004. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 6 years. Okay. And then it took another 9 years for Nia Franklin to be crowned. And Nia Franklin was honestly undeniable. Okay. So they had no choice but to crown her that year. So the pageant has been around, someone do the math, from 1923 to 2019. Let me pull up my calculator, because it's still 2025, almost 6. 2019 minus 1923. 96 years. You're telling me in 96 years, you couldn't even find 2 hands worth of beautiful Black women to hold the title of Miss America? And it's not even about Black women, because we are still seeing first happening in the Miss America pageant. We saw the first Indian American women win. You know, we almost had the first lesbian win. We're still seeing people in the military win for the first time. So this isn't all about race. But today, this discussion is. In 96 years, this one pageant alone has not crowned but 9 beautiful Black women. And we haven't had a Black woman win Miss America since before the pandemic. Before all the pandemonium started. Shaking my head. I'm shaking my head. Are you shaking your head? So then that's just one pageant. What I really noticed, and this is my thesis topic today. What is the standard of beauty in pageants? And is it a Black woman? What is the standard of beauty in pageantry? And is it a Black woman? Now, for many Black women, we're going to say, of course not. Look at all the things that we have to do as Black women contestants competing in a pageant. First off, we have to have our hair down. We have to have it straight. We have to wear white or yellow or a soft silver. You guys know what a soft silver is? Similar to what Cote d'Ivoire wore. Because she had a phenomenal yellow dress on for prelims, and I saw great pictures of her in this red dress, but Black women can't wear red. Why? Because red invokes an anger emotion, a strong, aggressive emotion, and we want to look soft and flurry, like snow, like pearls fresh out of an oyster. We can't wear red or black or green. You have to wear white. I know a lot of people think white is the color to win, but for Black women specifically, they're coached this way. Especially when I started, we were coached to wear softer colors, some neutrals, dare I say. And then came body shaming, right? A lot of Black women who work out really, really hard, and I'm sure it's the same, but for white women, but we've seen people say things about Serena Williams' body type, about Simone Biles' body type, about Jordan Child's body type when it comes to being fit and being strong and being feminine, but looking masculine. And we had Desi Williams, Miss Virginia, 2019, I think 2018, who had this phenomenal body, muscles everywhere that you cannot deny. She actually went on Survivor later, and people were questioning how strong is too strong to look to compete at Miss USA. Is that too strong? And then you also have the whole situation involving us being blessed down below and how big of a booty is too big to be on stage. Now, that discussion has not happened too much, but what I have seen is girls who want to compete in a pageant who are Black feel like they can't compete in a pageant because they are voluptuous in more ways than one, whether it's up top or down below or in the thighs. And we've seen a lot of people, body types on these stages fit a certain mold that a lot of Black women don't necessarily have. And I guess that's one thing about pageants too, is that we are crowning 1% of 1% of women. However, there's no body diversity. Everyone is starting to look the same. And I noticed this at Miss USA, but I also this year, and I also noticed this more watching Miss Universe. This is my second point. Black women have historically always came in second, third, or fourth runner-up in pageants. And lately in America and sometimes internationally, we have seen an increase of Black women placing first runner-up. Second place. Have you guys noticed that? We have seen a lot of women almost make it there, almost win the big title, but they never actually win. Has anyone else noticed this? We just saw it with New Jersey at Miss USA, where New Jersey looked great. That ponytail is exactly what I would have done. I don't know how she could have changed anything else. Quite frankly, I think it was a disgrace that Wisconsin didn't go farther than what I anticipated her to go. And I don't know all the contestants off the top of my head. That's just coming to mind right now. But New Jersey came in second. And I've been noticing this pattern because I am sitting there saying, "Oh Lord, please let this girl win," but still knowing she is not going to. Do you know how hard of a feeling that is when you know that that girl deserves to win, but she's not going to win because she's Black? Do you know how disheartening it is to witness and to cheer for Black women in pageants when they do so good, but yet they're not going to win? And you know they're not going to win. My mom told me yesterday, she's like, "I hate that you're going to be watching these pageants," because she watched Miss Universe with me. She's like, "I hate that you're going to be watching these pageants because you always get my hopes up." I don't get anyone's hopes up. These scam pageant directors that we saw on Thursday/Friday got your hopes up and everyone else's hopes up. But she said it was no surprise to her that the Black girl wasn't going to win. And Lord behold, what did we see? The Black girl didn't win. Shaking my head. And that brings me to my next topic: colorism in pageantry. Let's talk about colorism in pageantry. Brett, what exactly do you mean by that? I mean, dark-skinned girls aren't winning. Okay, we did this aren't winning. You have the Deshauna Barbers of the world. You have the Zosies, Miss South Africa, who won Miss Universe of the world, as great examples of the fact that when you put in resources to a beautiful dark-skinned Black woman, they're going to deliver. You cannot deny those two women deserve to win, period. What sucks is there's so many others who haven't even had the chance to even get to those levels because of colorism. Now, let me just break down what colorism is. That's when the shade of your skin tone affects implicit bias, how people perceive beauty. Okay. I think Deshauna won because she was undeniable. And there's a phrase in the Black community that says we have to work 10 times harder to get twice as much as the next person. Deshauna had a whole bunch of credentials on her resume, more than the average person has. She was currently serving. She was from DC. It was 2016. A lot of people was pro-America at the time. And she gave a great answer. Like, even Terrence J was like, it was mic drop. She overperformed her whole cohort of top 5. I am drawing a blank on who was really even there. But then you guys even remember when they did the final walk, Backstreet Boys said, "Miss USA." You couldn't deny that she won. And what color dress did she have on? A neutral color. But I think that softened the judge's blow to her, and she presented an overall package. Same thing was with Zosie. She was gorgeous. But you know who I think was robbed the most? This is when I really started peeping the scene. This right here is when I really started peeping the scene. This was 2014 when I first noticed this also happening. The same reaction we saw on Friday when the crowd went, and I'll bring it up in a second too. When a crowd makes a noise, that's how you know You didn't mess up. You guys are telling me. You guys are telling me this wasn't Miss Universe right here. I wish I could bring this picture up. Wish I could zoom in. Are you guys about to tell me this isn't Miss Universe? When I saw Casey, Miss Universe Jamaica 2014, take 4th place at Miss Universe, my heart fell to the ground. I had to pick my heart up off the ground, figure out how to put it back in my chest, and sew it back together. And then I was a puddle of tears crying because I for sure thought there's no way she's not going to win. And that's when this theory all began. Why do Black women never win a pageant, but we get this close? We'll always tease with a 1st or 4th runner-up. Always teased with a top 5 placement. Just enough to get our hopes up. Let me present to you guys some more examples of this. Oop, I'm commenting on Facebook, you guys. Oh, like my cousin's about to have his baby. I hope he waits. I've seen them tomorrow. Oh yeah, I'm going to Tennessee, and my cousin they're about to burst. Let me see. Let me just go to Miss USA top 5. Let's just go to Miss USA top 5. This is what I'm talking about. Look at this top 5. Where are the Black people? I don't know. I don't have those answers. This was this year. Notice, going to the colorism, notice how everyone is just about the same shade. The standard of beauty has shifted towards tanner skin. This is probably the most diverse top 5, 2017. This is when we had the most diverse. We make it just enough. She came a second. Just enough. This is in Maine. Okay. Remember this? Remember when Chrissy Teigen blasted Miss Teen USA for its lack of diversity? I mean, just look at the material. Copy, paste, click, paste, click, paste, click, paste. Wow. How can we choose from such a diverse bunch? You guys remember when Chrissy Teigen was going crazy on the internet? Remember when we had this conversation in 2016? I asked ChatGPT this question because, you know, I love to ask Chat questions. I asked ChatGPT this question. Let me show you guys. I said, hey, Chat, let's see the answer. I said, this is me talking to it, so don't judge the way I typed it. would you be able to list a number of pageants across the world, specifically mainly just in the US, but Miss Universe and Miss USA and Miss America, and Miss World and Miss Globe and Miss International, where a woman of color who was Black came as a runner-up in the top 5, or they came as a first runner-up, or in second place? Give me a list in the years dating back as far as you can, or where a Black woman came in second or third place in these pageants and finished as a runner-up in the top 5. It took 2 minutes for this thing to generate this response. And look how long this response was. It says, sure. And obviously, this is AI, so all this isn't 100% factual. But it started mentioning the Black women who came in second place. We have Carol Gist, who was first runner-up at Miss Universe in 1990. Danielle Jones, Trinidad and Tobago, fourth runner-up at Miss Universe 04. In 2010, we saw second place with Jamaica. 2014, like I said, with Casey Fennell, fourth place. In 2017, Davina Bennett, you guys remember this one, where she had an afro? Remember I said you have to wear your hair down. If you're a Black woman, you got to wear your hair down in pageants. She had the afro, came in third. We saw Nigeria come in second at Miss first one in Miss Universe last year, and she lost to LeBlanc. So far, Miss Universe alone, you got at least 6 clearly documented Black women who have been named first or second or runner-up or in the top 5. There are likely a few more Caribbean, African top 5 placements buried in some older years. Miss World, we saw it in 2025. This is what I was going to bring up with Ethiopia. Almost there. Almost there. I saw that last year. With Miss USA, we saw with Halle Berry, who didn't win Miss USA, but she came in second. Miss America was Texas in 2025 that we saw, and then Suzette Charles. But I also want to mention Texas for Miss America 2024 when Colorado won. And I'm drawing a blank on her name. It didn't really give much from Miss International, Miss Globe. And it says, you got 12 at least well-documented, almost had the crown moments for Black women across the pageant systems you named. In addition to all the times Black women actually won the titles, which was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that I mentioned here, across Miss Teen USA, Miss World, Miss Universe. And it's looking how I can do some more. But do you guys remember watching Miss America last year? I'll enlighten you. Do you guys remember? Yep, 2024. I wish I could bring up bigger pictures. Do you guys remember this feeling? This is when it was certified for me that I am kind of over it when it comes to pageants. Let me see. I want to bring a bigger picture up. Oh, it's not showing. Okay. Here we go. My little mouse is so dramatic. Right here. Do you guys remember this moment? Because I do. Ellie should have won Miss Texas. I mean, should have won Miss America, but she came in second in 2024. Now we have at least three documented instances in the last year where a Black woman came in second place or fourth place. Miss America 2024, we saw it at Miss Universe on Friday. We saw it at Miss USA 2 weeks ago, and we saw it at Miss Universe last year. That's 4 times a Black woman, 4 times a Black woman have lost a major beauty pageant in the last 4 or 5 pageant cycles that we had in the last year. Is this a coincidence? Miss America 2024, Miss America, let me see, because I'm drawing a blank on what happened this past year. Miss America 2025, let me see. Yeah, it was Texas this year. Would you look at this? I wish I could show you guys my screens on TikTok, sorry. Remember, I meant this Texas. Top 5. What year is this? 2025. Top 5 Miss America 2025. Tennessee, Alabama, Texas, Florida, Ohio. Guess who won this pageant? This was in January. Guess who won this pageant? A Black woman came. What was her place? 4th? And they had 2 in the top 5 at Miss America last year. You guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. I just drew a blank. Because who just won this pageant? This girl. Alabama, right? Florida. They said gosh, it's Florida. It wasn't Florida. Was it? No. Oh, it says Florida. Abby? Look at this comment. I wanted Texas or Ohio to win so bad. Texas and Ohio, both Black women. Colorado's in top 5, rooting for Texas. I feel like Alabama. Abby. Yeah, okay. I knew I wasn't going crazy. Alabama won last year. A blonde. I mean, like, I don't know. I'm just presenting facts. I'm just presenting the facts. And the facts are saying Black women aren't winning pageants. They're coming in 2nd place, 3rd place, and 4th place. But we're not winning. We're not winning. We're not winning. And why is that? It's because America does not value the beauty of a beautiful Black woman. So now that I presented these facts to you guys, what are we going to do with this information? Because there's only one solution I could think of. And I have the solution right here up my sleeve. But as you can see, my sleeves are bound today, so nothing can get in. So I'm not going to tell you just yet. But I will say it's what it's what's on your mind. Start your own. Create your own. So then people will say, why is there a Miss Black? Where is the Miss White? Where is the Miss White America? Why is there Miss Black America? Where's Miss White America? She's in Alabama. She's right here. this is Miss White America. They're just not going to put white in a name because they want it to be fair. But they're not really crowning us. This when people ask, where is Miss White America? Show them. A white woman won Miss America the last couple of years, since 2019. That's the answer to that question. When people ask, why do we have these black pageants, Miss Black USA, Miss Black America? It's because you guys are not crowning us. You're not crowning us. But I do want to say there's an asterisk on this because my nose is itching like crazy. I do want to say there is an asterisk on this because there was a brief moment in time wherein some of the highest titles were all black women. In 2020, Miss America, no, 2019, yeah, Miss America, Miss USA, Miss Teen USA, and Miss Universe, I think, was all black women. There was 5 of them. So I do want to say we have dominated. And I think that might have been when they stopped crowning us. They're like, oh, snap. They have every single title for the first time ever. But it's not. But then look at who was there. Miss USA, Chesley, rest in peace. She was a D1 athlete. She was a lawyer practicing. She had the best hair. And she was a high achiever. Look at the credentials that you need to be a black woman to win some of these high pageant titles. You need to be a lawmaker actively practicing while still in school getting your law degree in order to win Miss America. If not, you gonna lose to someone in Kentucky who runs the family farm and dropped out of school at 3rd grade, but can sing off key for a minute and 30 seconds, long enough to finesse the judges to thinking that she's enough. Somebody on TikTok said, this was really interesting to learn. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys for watching on TikTok. I didn't want this to go over an hour. I do want you guys to really grasp what I'm saying. But I want you to kind of catch these patterns. What we saw at Miss Universe on Thursday might have hurt the universe's and the world's feelings where everybody was shocked. But this was finally the very first time when you guys saw exactly what we already knew. Black women were never going to be crowned Miss Universe. If we weren't crowned based off of Olivia's presentation on Thursday/Friday of last week, it is going to take them watching this live, watching this on repeat, for someone to jump in and crown somebody. And I feel like that's going to suck even worse, because then it's going to be like, did they just crown her because that, or did they crown her because of this movement of acknowledgement? So that's going to be tough too. But I will say, if you peep the people who are historically crowned in these big 4, 5, 6 pageants, they're not Black. Matter of fact, I just saw a post like that. Let me see. Big 5 beauty pageant. I just saw a graphic that showed was it this one? All of the current top 6. Let me see. I just saw a picture of it. Of course, now this one, let me go back. It's okay. If you look at some of the big pageants, Universe, World, International, Earth, Supra, and Grand, you're going to see something that looks oddly, I can't get the picture to look bigger. It's going to look something kind of like this. Right here. What looks familiar? Are we seeing the same thing? Right here. This is what the top 6 pageants look like. Winners. This is what the universe is saying beauty looks like. And granted, all 6 of these, this is dated because we see cat. All 6 of these have their own competition with hundreds of girls competing. But what are the odds that the beauty standard looks oddly familiar? Dark hair, dark eyes, maybe a little bit of tan skin. This was the 5 I was mentioning. I just saw a graphic that showed all the top 5 current pageants. This was last year. It wasn't this one, but it looks similar to this one. You guys see, let's see if I can make this bigger. You guys see this? This was posted on November 6th. These are the top 6 biggest pageants in the world right now. Universe is the only one that's different. I think, I'm pretty sure. But these were all, as of 2 weeks ago, the current reigning beautiful women in the world. Most beautiful women in the world. What is missing? A Black woman. Now, at one point or another, did a Black woman hold all these titles? I think so. International's the only one holding me up. But I can name a Black person, I think, in all of them. I wonder about Earth. But this is what I'm talking about. This is what the universe, world, internationally, the Earth, the supranational, and the grand Earth is saying looks beautiful. And those girls don't look like me. Do they look like you? They don't look like me. So then you have to ask the question, why compete? Because I want to. I want to compete in a pageant where I have a fair opportunity to win because I'm just as deserving as the next person. And although beauty is not a score, it's considered. But although beauty is not a score, you can't look at me and deny what's inside. But you are denying what's inside because you're looking at me on the outside. And because of your implicit bias, you won't allow yourself to see me or anyone who looks like me as beautiful. And thus, we won't win these pageants for real, unless we are 100% undeniable. But we saw what happened when you are 100% undeniable. Miss Universe 2025. You become Côte d'Ivoire. Miss Côte d'Ivoire, Olivia. And now, when this happens and the whole world can see, oh, Mexico, there are some of you guys who are so set in your ways against Black beauty, you don't even think Côte d'Ivoire should have won. You think maybe she could have came in second. Some of you guys are still rooting for Thailand and Philippines. Some of you guys are still in the Lulu land where you're like, yeah, she did a good job, but I still have Philippines. But we all can agree Mexico didn't deserve it. And second, third, fourth, okay. But Miss Universe 2025 was proof that Black women have to work so hard in these pageants, and we still probably won't be rewarded with the title. So I love that everyone is gathering around Olivia, Miss Cote d'Ivoire, because not only does she need it, but I think that validation is necessary. And I think that now the world is waking up to the idea that, yeah, I think pageants are racist and colorist against Black women. Thank you so much for coming to my TED Talk. I appreciate you guys. I hope your glasses are empty. I was drinking on this nice little cinnamon cranberry pomegranate situation, but just sit on that, comment on that, comment below what you guys think. I appreciate you guys. I'm still going to add some comments, but I don't know about that one. Okay, I don't know. Those comments look kind of suspect. But thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys for just tuning in, listening. Comment below your thoughts. Am I leaning towards something? Am I off? Am I being biased? Be honest with me, because if you see a pattern happening in pageants or in any industry, I think it's time for us to start shaking the room and keeping our foots on these people's necks, okay? Foots on these necks. Because how can you say Black is not beautiful? I mean, hello. So get with the program, baby, and I will catch you guys in the next episode. Bye.